Is college football finally dead?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going to discuss the freshman class from 2024 and what CBS Sports gave them as far as a letter grade. But the biggest story surrounding Oklahoma football is the cancellation of the spring game. Yes, I did say cancellation because spring game is dead. College football is dead. We now have a future that involves the Crimson Combine, Jay.
Yeah, it's going to be a new tradition where they'll have the players go through like skills and stuff. You'll probably see some like DB, wide receiver one-on-ones and, you know, things of that nature, while also making a big fan event where fans can meet the players. And they'll also get to hear from Jim Nagy as well as Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, all of that good stuff, you know, because we're going to also hear from them like on Wednesday when they do their press conference. But hey, the fans will get an opportunity to interact with them. And I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, John. I don't mind it. I don't at all. And this is why. The spring game was a glorified scrimmage anyway. I think the biggest difference you're going to see, I put it this way, I think the biggest difference you're going to see between the two is that it's just not going to be televised anymore. I bet you they run plays and do like a game type scrimmage type setup that's not as intense, because I've heard a few people say, you know, we'll talk about reactions in a minute, but the biggest one I'm hearing is, oh, to keep people from getting injured. We didn't have any injuries last year or the year before from the spring game. All of our injuries came in fall camp or spring training.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not something that I would expect people to be concerned about injuries. It's a glorified scrimmage. They're running scripted plays, and then you just watch the wide receivers dust people, or you see the quarterback run it 80 yards for a touchdown. It's not something that, to me, the tradition behind it is bringing everybody together to come to the area and do something. Watching your team play against himself, put it this way. The offense dominates, you're going to say your defense sucks. The defense dominates, you're going to say offense sucks. It's a lose-lose situation regardless.
I understand where college football coaches are coming from. The spring transfer portal has created an environment in which players are getting tampered with, and teams are losing depth and talent to the portal after they basically are counting on those guys to be a part of the team for that calendar year.
Yep.
I understand the injury sentiment of it. It's football. There are going to be injuries. Why there was an inordinate amount of injuries at Oklahoma in 2024 when there wasn't in 2022 and 2023, I don't know. I know there's a lot of speculation out there, but it's not like the training was different. Jerry Schmidt was still putting those guys through the same paces. It's not like he like slacks off or ratchets it up. He has one speed, right? So yeah, I don't like it because it's another move away from what has made college football so great for hundreds of years. It's another move along the lines of the transfer portal and NIL and college football playoff and playoff expansion and conference realignment that is completely made over what college football has always looked like. And I get the rationale that, hey, these guys might potentially be playing 14, 15, 16 games in a season, and you're wanting to take away some wear and tear. And how much is a 2-hour scrimmage going to do to take that away? I mean, they're still going to have scrimmages. It's just now that they're not going to do it in front of the fans. They're not going to do it on TV. And to me, it takes away a lot of the luster for what we're supposed to be excited about. Like spring ball is supposed to be an exciting time that kind of gets the fan base re-energized and re-hopeful for the coming season. And now you don't have that. And so now we're going to get another 5 more months of talking about this team as, hey, who knows what they're going to be? Because we don't know. We're not going to know. And as much as we'll be able to take some of the practice buzz and listen, you can't extrapolate everything from the spring game. You can't, because last year Deion Burks was about to go off for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns based on the spring game last year. But there are some things you can't extrapolate, like in some of the one-on-one situations, like Grayson Halton. The dude dominated in the spring game and went out and had a big-time year. So it's just an unfortunate move that continues college football down the wrong track, in my opinion.
I'm opposite. I just see that it's now an opportunity to really give you one-on-one drills and stuff and give you more
Pro Bowl.
focus.
Who watches the Pro Bowl anymore? It's just
I mean, the spring game is the Pro Bowl too. Like it's the coaches standing behind the quarterbacks while they run plays and then they stop them whenever things don't go right. I don't think it's any different. I totally get everyone's sentiment around they wanted to be able to see people do the one-on-one stuff. Yes, occasionally I want to see Michael Boganowski take somebody's head off. Totally excites me too. While at the same time, if you take out one of your teammates, it's kind of tough for them to play the next season, but that's not the point. Like I said, I get everybody's pushback, everybody being upset with it. I only went to spring game because I thought it would be just cool to just, sit in the stands. I didn't expect much from the actual product because there's not much you can truly show us when you're playing against yourself. They've been going through multiple scrimmages before. They know each other side. It's perfect. It's purposely scripted to where you don't give away too much because, again, the spring game is on television. So it's just out there to just be in the environment. If they can continue to simulate that just in a different way where you feel a little bit more intensity while it's not on television, I'm totally here for it. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and wait and see what the actual product is before I pass too much judgment. But that's how I've always felt about the spring game. Like you said, it's a tradition that you need to have a spring activity, like period, like point blank. That is college. The college tradition is doing something in the spring. You can't deviate away from that. I'm hoping that Brent Venables and Joe Castiglione understands that. You need to do something to make it still feel like college. Just make sure the activities that they put on the field is stuff that's fun where people can say, oh man, I saw such and such. He looked good. Give me some drills where they're throwing balls in the air super high and they have to go up and grab it, right? Give me some one-on-ones between DBs and wide receivers, safeties and tight ends, running backs and linebackers blocking each other. Give me stuff like that. Then I won't complain. But as of now, I can't be mad and I can't be, feel indifferent. It's just, I got to see what the product's going to be.
Sure. I'll give you that.
I know it's tough. I know.
Here in a couple months and I can say, oh yeah, that was awesome. And I was wrong. That was great. But man, just the hungry for football person in me doesn't care that it's a scrimmage against yourself. I love it. I love watching the interior.
Give me them goods.
People keep talking about wanting to get rid of NFL preseason. It's football. Why would you take away more football? And replacing it with a glorified skills competition, a combine, like I agree. I can't remember who exactly said it, but it was one of the guys that covers SEC and does college. Maybe it was Jake Crane. He said that the combine is kind of overrated. I kind of agree with him. Aside from watching like the 3 guys that Oklahoma had in the combine, I really wasn't that interested.
Yeah.
But I don't need to watch, these guys race each other or, figure out who can bench the most. I don't need any of that. What I want to see is these guys compete. That's what I want to see. Like in a game like atmosphere, not compete with who can throw the ball the furthest or who's the most accurate passer, which guy can win in a one-on-one situation against a cornerback that's designed really in a situation for him to lose anyway. Like,
it's a pretty disadvantage.
Those things don't, I think, scream football to me. And so to me, it's a bummer. And but I get where you're coming from. This might be our first actual football beef, Jay. And I don't know if we're going to settle it on this episode. We might not even settle it in the next segment.
Oh, no, we won't.
We go through some of your reactions. I asked the question over at Locked On Sooners on Twitter, what your feelings were about getting rid of the spring game and replacing it with Crimson Combine. And we'll discuss those reactions coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest products and info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, there's free Trade Master program offering exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code S-H-5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to try not to be so angry in this segment there, Jay. But let's discuss some of these reactions here.
I know that I'm the complete opposite side of majority of everybody, so I totally get it. Everybody can be mad at me. Just go ahead and blame me in the comments.
All right, here's what Coach Bryson says. We'll start off with the pro side of this. He says, nobody cares about spring game. Only reason we will show up is to see Mateer and have unspoken expectations, seeing our first team score on our third string defense.
That is a very valid point. And that's kind of where I go with when it comes to these spring games. It's overly scripted, and it's first versus third string where you're purposely out there burning somebody for 3 catches for 162 yards, a la Deion Burks. Now, granted, if Deion Burks had, a situation where the ball was thrown to him at the proper amount of times like it's supposed to be, yeah, he probably would have that 1,700 yards you were talking about, John, which now I think this year he has an opportunity because I know he has a quarterback that's willing to throw the ball. We'll talk about John Mateer later this week as people have already started chiming in on him, but to the point of Coach. I disagree that nobody cares because obviously people care. We had 80,000 people show up to Brent Venables' first spring game?
Like 77,000 basically.
77,000. A lot of people. People care. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's less about the game and more about the team. And people are just curious about who's out there and what do they look like. And I think you're still going to get that. You're going to still see dudes in pads. You're going to be like, yeah, that's a mammoth human being.
I just don't know if we'll see dudes in pads.
Got to. Oh, again, we're speculating.
Like. That's not what they're going to do. It's going to be guys in shorts and, skin tight t-shirts running combine drills and doing skills competitions. Like when I mentioned this, the Pro Bowl, it's what the Pro Bowl is now. Maybe
at least the fans get to meet the players.
If we're lucky, maybe we get a flag football game. I'm not feeling lucky though, Jay.
Flag football would actually be so much better for spring in comparison. People would actually run hard.
Maybe a little 7-on-7 competition. You could sell me on that because that's still relevant football in my opinion.
Yeah, they're running fast. They're running hard. I totally could take that.
Okay. All right. At least we agree on something in this episode. Sooner Keith says, feels like they're taking something away from the fans while also asking for donations at a record pace. Not good.
The only games that are actually meaningful are the ones that start in August. This is really just for the fans. And I totally get everyone thinks that they're taking more away, but no, not really. It's August is when it matters. That you don't win playoff games in the spring at all. Now, you could be a paper champion. We've seen that. Truth be told, let's talk about our rival really quickly. Texas had 14 people that could be potentially drafted. That's at the combine. They got all these players and all these dudes setting records as far as like running and stuff. Why didn't they win a Final Four playoff game? That's not a good thing. That actually is kind of an indictment. You had that much talent, you still couldn't win. So, point being, paper championships mean nothing. It's all about how you perform on the actual field against people that actually want to take your head off. I mean, if the quarterback's getting touched and he's considered down, it ain't football.
Yeah, and I get where Keith is coming from on this too, that it seems like there's this bigger push from the administration trying to get more financial investment from the fan base, from businesses, from big time donors, and then taking something away that everybody kind of loves. And to your credit, wait and see. But are you going to get 50,000 people buying $10 tickets to this event? I don't think so. Now, are they going to have upcharged opportunities where they can continue to generate a little bit more revenue, whether it's autograph signings or, meet and greets and photo ops and things like that? Maybe, but then people are going to complain about, okay, $10 in the gate, and then it's another $20 to take a picture with John Mateer, or $50 to get an autograph or whatever. And then it's just like this kind of upselling constantly once they get you inside the gate. Again, wait and see. We'll see. It could be a great experience, especially for the kids, if they can get out on Owen Field and run through some combine-like drills themselves and kind of have that experience. Because I remember going to minor league baseball games as a kid and getting to run the bases on a professional baseball field. Dude, awesome, incredible experience. So like, as much as I don't like adult. This, like the fact that maybe your kids are actually going to get to be on Owen Field and interacting with players, that could be kind of cool. So,
John, I did that running the bases as an adult. That was fun. I loved it when I was in my 20s, but going to a minor league game and being able to put on the field and run the bases is like, oh my goodness, I feel like a big leaguer. Then I realized how much I really sucked at baseball. But at the same time, I got to feel the dirt. It was amazing. We played softball and sucked, but I digress. What else we got?
Larry says, don't care. Just win 10 games. Just win, baby. I agree. If they win 10 games, I don't think anybody's going to care if they had a spring game or not.
At all. None of us will even think about it.
Yep. Sooner 5150 says, stupid. For some folks, this is the only game they can go to due to ticket prices being insane or availability.
That is a very fair statement. Granted, it's not really a game, but yes, that is a very fair statement. It is the one time.
He did put game in quotation marks.
He did put game in quotation marks, and that's actually what I appreciate from Sooner 5150s, that you put them in the quotation marks, because you're 100% right. This is true. If anything, it's the only opportunity for a lot of fans to be able to get into Owen Field. Granted, they'll still be able to go to Owen Field, and in this circumstance, I'm sensing they'll actually be able to go on the field. And if that's the case, you pay $10 to get on Owen Field, maybe get a picture or something somewhere, get a selfie, might make it worth it.
Yeah. I just remember taking my kids, Bray was maybe 2, and then Ellie was, what was she? This is 2022, so she must have been 6 or going on 6. No, she turned 6. And just, it was a fun experience, like, do I want to take a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old to a game in the fall? Probably not. But to a spring game, like, I didn't care that I was missing time waiting in the line trying to get concessions because my kids were hungry, but they got to go experience a football game. So that was kind of fun. All right, moving on. Yorkie says, I like it. Helps keep dudes healthy. Most of the time, the spring game didn't tell us anything about the team at all. I get some of the complaints, but overall, I'm for it. I'm all for it.
I get that too. Now, there is we talked about this for a segment. A lot of people have concerns or questions about injuries. We don't really see many of them there, but at the same time, if your guys are, there's a chance that people can get hurt. So I totally get that aspect. For me, that wasn't really that big of a concern. Granted, you don't have Michael Bowen actually going out there leveling people or whatnot, coming around the side, but yeah, I'm gonna keep mentioning that because that was it was beautiful, and it was also insane to just take your teammate out. But we know that he's gonna keep doing that. But yeah, I guess health health is probably the biggest concern because, again, we need to get to 10 wins. If we can get to 10 wins, we're healthy, knock on wood, barring injury. We healthy, we can get to 10 wins.
Yeah, Michael Boganowski is Bobby Boucher. Michael Boganowski's dad, Mike, just replied with a crying kid. But Reggie Power's dad, he doesn't care. He's just excited to go watch his son be on the field. So
yep.
I think we're getting a good balance of love it, hate it on both sides of this. We'll take one more here, and this comes from T-Bomb 73. He says, no biggie. Been a few years since I've been to one. As long as there is improvement and development during spring, that's all that matters. And listen, I think regardless of where you stand on this, even if I stand on the hate it side, because I'm a hater, I agree with T-Bomb on this. Ultimately, what matters is development in the spring that puts this team in a position to go win a lot of games in the fall.
That's all I'm saying too. Just win, baby.
Just win. In the immortal words of Al Davis, former Oakland Raiders owner, just win, baby. Can the Oklahoma Sooners build off of a strong 2024 freshman class season? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners. Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, go check out Locked On College Basketball with Isaac Shade and Andy Patton, getting you ready for all of the big tournament action in conference play and March Madness. Do it on Locked On College Basketball. So, Jay, the freshman class we know was stout for the Sooners. It was led by Jaden Jackson and Eli Bowen, but we also got big time contributions from a guy like Xavier Robinson, here and there from Taylor Tatum. And you saw some of their redshirt freshmen get significant playing time. CBS Sports gave Oklahoma's freshman class a B+. Where do you think that's a fair grade for that class?
In comparison to everybody else that they mentioned, feels like it's a little low. I'm looking at Georgia. They had Nate Frazier, KJ Bolden, and then Chris Cole was their great start, but that's it. Just 3 players, right? Texas had some really good hits, and Colin Simmons as well as Ryan Wingo. And then Kobe Black was good. Jared Gibson, he got hurt. I totally get it. But for us, I think it's a fair spot. I do think it's a little low. Jaden Jackson and Eli Bowen stepping up so fast, being that good. Amazing. Xavier Robinson in that big game that he had against Alabama when he had the opportunity to actually play the full game. Yeah, game changers. I mean, he showed us that against Maine. It's like, okay, it's Maine. We'll see what that means. And then you get him against Alabama, you're like, oh. Okay. Didn't realize that existed. So now you got to see Michael Hawkins was also an example because he wasn't horrible. You could tell the youth there and him trying to figure it out on his own. But the biggest question is, I like the great starts they pointed out with Taylor Tatum, Zion Kearney, Ivan Carry-On, Zion Ragin, with Michael Hawkins and Xavier Robinson. I do think the start was pretty solid for a lot of them. And I could say that it's fair. We didn't lose a lot out of that class, but I do think that class was a lot better than a lot of people expected.
Well, if you're comparing it to like what Alabama had with Ryan Williams, obviously that's an A+ freshman season for the Crimson Tide. No matter what else you get anywhere else, Ryan Williams and his performance, but you kind of had something similar in Jaden Jackson at defensive tackle. It's just not as splashy of a position that Jaden Jackson plays, but the dude was really, really good. The fact that he was able to earn a starting role coming out of fall camp is a testament to the kind of player that he is and the kind of player that he can be. Because I think we're still just scratching the surface of his potential with the Sooners. Another year in the offseason training program, another year to continue to bulk up and get strong with Schmitty. And I mean, the trajectory is still pointing upward for him. I think same for Eli Bowen. I mean, it's tough to be out there on an island against SEC wide receivers. It is tough. You're going to get beat sometimes, especially if you're a true freshman. But there's a lot to really like about what he can do for you on a football field. The instincts are there. It's now just kind of honing in on some of the finer details of playing cornerback at this high of a level. So I think it's, again, B+. I think it's a good place to be. You didn't really get as much as you needed out of your wide receiver group. They did a few nice things here and there, but it was kind of up and down and inconsistent. You never really found a guy that could really take hold of an opportunity at wide receiver. Offensive line, if you want to include, this is about the 2024 recruiting class. So you didn't really get significant contributions out of your offensive linemen from the 2024 class. You saw them enter the game here and there, but it wasn't in meaningful competition. But I expect this year that we start to see an Eddie Pierre-Louis really become a significant part of the offensive line rotation, Isaiah Autry-Dent as well. And they're going to continue to push some of these veterans on the team and could end up finding starting roles on this team in 2025. And that's not an indictment of where your offensive line is. It's just because those guys are really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you ask for, is to have a freshman class that at least get a light amount of contribution. And when they do play, they actually show you something. Eli Bowen, Jaden Jackson showed you something immediately. Like you mentioned, you didn't get a lot from your offensive line, unfortunately. And it's mainly because, the veterans in front, they weren't supposed to get hurt as fast as they did. And, I think the one that was really ready to play, Eddie Pierre-Louis, him not coming in the spring really hurt as far as learning the playbook and getting prepared. I know Isaiah Autry-Dent, he was dealing with a couple of little injury situations or whatnot that's kind of held him back, but he picked up that book fast and he's ready to go out there and start mauling people. And we saw glimpses of what he can be as long as he, sharpen his footwork and keep getting stronger. You're going to see a lot of progress forward. And so, that's what you would have liked to see more of. But the good thing is we played a lot of snaps at freshman. I think we played some of the most in college football. That's like the second year in a row we were in the top when it comes to snaps from young players, which does nothing but benefit you long-term as long as those players continue to develop. And I think we're at that point where they are developing. We're not seeing any true regressions. We just need to get some other players to step up, really get some more other players, young players to really step up and make it happen. But Eli and Jaden Jackson being a hits, question is, where's David Stone? I'm ready to see him break out. This is going to be his breakout year.
Well, even if it's not this year, you're going to get a breakout from him at some point. And I know we live in this world where you want immediate gratification. I get that. You want to see all of your true freshmen have standout true freshman seasons and go be impactful players, but it's a developmental game and everybody's timeline is a little bit different. David Stone, this could be the year. He's going to get an opportunity. You didn't add a significant defensive tackle option in the transfer portal. So you're bringing in a rotation that's going to look like Dominic Williams and Grayson Halton and Jaden Jackson and David Stone.
Yeah.
That's your 4-man rotation on the interior defensive line. And that's really salty. The other one, I think we've talked about it a lot over the last few weeks, and that's Danny Okoye. I think that's a guy that's going to have a chance to really have a big impact this year as part of your defensive end rotation. We talked about Eddie Pierre-Louis. I think the wide receiver group from the 2024 recruiting class is going to continue to get better. Devon Mitchell, that's a guy I think is going to have an opportunity to make an impact and make a splash. They didn't bring anybody in the transfer portal that should stop them from playing him if he's the best option at tight end. Yeah. If he can continue to develop and he can get all the things right off the field that he has to have right, he's got the talent, he's got the size, he's got the physical ability. It's just making sure he's got everything locked up so that he can go and perform on the football field. And I think maybe this year we start to see that.
Yeah, I think we're there with a lot of these young players we've been really waiting to, I guess, explode. I think the ones that are going to, this will be the year for those 23s and 24s. Mm-hmm. I think this is that year. The 22s, they're either just probably on the roster hanging out and being there. But I think the 23s and 24s are ready to go ahead and break out. You may see a couple of 25s actually show up as well. And I'm going to be excited about that. I got a couple of ideas of who may be the ones that could do that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're at that point, John. Season's coming up. When we start practicing, we start doing the get the practice reports throughout the week. Yeah, we're going to inject that in our veins and really be excited. Let's get that going.
Yeah, the depth chart looks nice. Now it's just a matter of going and winning football games.
That's it.
The development is happening. You've got really good depth on both sides of the ball. Now it's just time to perform. Spring ball is about to get set, get underway, Make sure you tune into Locked On Sooners wherever you get your podcasts. We will cover it all here daily for you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you go follow Jay on Twitter at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams. And you can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. You can follow the show at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. Make sure, again, you go check out the Locked On College Basketball Podcast with Isaac Shade and Andy Patton, getting you ready for March Madness. If you got your tournament bracket ready to fill out and you need some answers about some potential upsets in that 12-5, go check out the Locked On College Basketball Podcast. They'll give you all the information that you need to get ready for the big dance. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner.
Here's hope in Oklahoma's dancing.
Hope, hope, hope.